video is sponsored by Squarespace. I often tell people to do as I say, not to do as I do. And this is a good example of that, because late at night, back in the summer, I found out that a company that I like to buy my Glad bulbs from was going to be doing a fall peony sale, but they were only selling their peonies in packs of 10, and I wanted to buy every single variety that they had. And so I spent $700 and bought 80 peony plants with no idea where I'm possibly going to put them all here on my residential property. But even though the idea of dealing with these now that I have them is a little stressful, we still get to have the fun of unboxing them and looking at my 80 peony haul, because these are some really beautiful roots. So the company that I got all these peonies from is Bolle, and they are a Canadian company where I have regularly been buying my Glad bulbs from for the farm. An excellent resource for getting Glads. They don't just do commercial, they also do residential, so anyone can order from them. I highly recommend them. But they do cut flowers themselves too. That's part of the reason why they have all these Glad bulbs. And apparently they have a peony field and they were dividing it this year. So all of the varieties that I got are actually excellent cut flower varieties. These are just kind of like industry classics and they're so beautiful. So I'm really excited. And then commonly the size of peony roots that you'll get is a 2-3, which means that, here, let's get an example. When you get your roots, it's the number of eyes on the plant. So this one here, you know, the root is quite big, but it's not the root itself. It's not that you're getting 2 to 3 inches of root, and this being a 3 to 5 means I'm getting 3 to 5 inches or anything like that. It's these little sprouts, these eyes, because this is going to be, you know, plant matter that grows up in the spring. So for these roots, they're guaranteed 3 to 5, and they could even be larger because they were just kind of digging up their field. So you can see there's like an eye here. There's a few eyes down below. There's still quite a bit of dirt on these. This one itself, this is really large for a 3 to 5. I wouldn't be surprised that if I went and washed all this off, you know, there could be potentially even up to 8 eyes. So these are some really nice peony roots, and because they were selling them in these packs of 10 instead of individuals, the price was really good too. The 10 packs were 80 bucks, and I bought 8 of them, which is why it added up to so much money in the end. But you know, getting one of these for $8 is really exciting for me. I knew that this video is probably going to be a little tempting for everyone, so I went and I checked on their website right before I started filming, and unfortunately they are sold out. And I don't know if this is something that they do every year or if they were just, you know, doing some maintenance on their peony field. But keep your eye peeled. I'll include the website link down in the description of this video if you want to check out the company. But what is it that I bought? What is it in these bags? So let me go over the varieties. The first variety that I got here, this one that I just grabbed out of, this is Duchess Denur, and this is a beautiful creamy color, and honestly all the roots in this bag are really nice. I mean, look at this one. Look at the piece on this. Like that's crazy. These must have been like really big plants. The Duchess Denur is, if I was to only grow 2 peonies, which was originally my plan before I bought these boxes, my top choices would be this, the Duchess Denur in this nice creamy color, beautiful, fluffy, very full double, just beautiful beautiful for a cut flower. And then the other variety is Sarah Bernhardt. So like, you know, with just those two, I'd be happy. So, you know, very, very glad to have some of these. It was on my must-have list, and now I have more that I know what to do with. But let's see, what else do we have in here? I have to keep these. I have to not lose track. In the first year that we planted peonies at the flower farm, we just planted them out because they were for cut flowers. At a certain point, it doesn't really matter what the variety name is. A pink peony is a pink peony, a white peony is a white peony. But I came to realize, you know, as soon as they bloomed, that I really wished I would have kept track of what is what. And so the second year when we went and we planted a field of 1,000 peonies, I did a little bit better of keeping them tagged. But I didn't actually tag individual plants. What I tagged was just kind of sections. So it wasn't necessarily obvious when they bloomed what variety was what, especially in some areas where there was like a bunch of corals all together. It's kind of hard to tell, like, where does Coral Charm go into, you know, the other coral variety that we had. So one thing that I'm going to be really careful about this year, planting my peonies here at my home, is every single plant I'm going to make sure to tag them a little bit more effectively. And tags, you know, you can put these like physical tags onto your plant. Sometimes tags like this can be problematic because the sun will bleach things out. Even if you're using stuff like a Jiffy, you know, Jiffy very quickly will get sun bleached away. A trick that lasts a little bit longer is to get, I think they're called wax pencils. I have a white one that I've used to mark plastic trays in the past, and then because it's waxy, it doesn't wash away and it doesn't fade. But even with that, it will start to fade. So I think the trick that I'm going to use here, even though I'm going to put some physical labeling onto the plants, I'm also going to make a garden map. So I'm gonna, you know, have like a master plan where when I plant things out, I will make a note on what is planted where in the property. So even if tags start to fall off, I can go back to that map and I can be like, okay, third peony from the left is, you know, is Katrina Fagen, which is what the next variety I have in the bag here is. This is a variety that I have never grown, but yet again, beautiful double. The coloring on this is this nice soft pink and just gorgeous looking peonies. I mean, this is the story of like how I bought 80 peonies for myself. I went and I looked at the website and I was like, okay, well, I only have space for like 20 or 30, so I'll get just a couple varieties. And then I saw what they looked like, and Drool City, I had to get them all. Yeah, so beautiful color on that. You know, the other thing that made this so tempting was it was kind of like a perfect range of different colors and different varieties. It'd be like, oh, okay, here's this light pink, and it's a earlier season blooming one, and then here's also a light pink that is a later blooming one. It made it so easy to kind of see how the entire set of peonies that they had would work really well together. So they're very tempting, very tempting. Next up, I have 10 of the Etelis Superba. Yet again, double. And this is just beautiful, vibrant pink. Man, okay, look at this. Okay, the number of eyes on this one. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You know, that's just what I can quickly count. This is a really gorgeous peony root. Yeah, no, the color on this, so yet again, this is another variety that I haven't grown over at the farm, but just so beautiful. You know, like, just the mix of colors, right? Like, my preference is, I think my favorite peonies of all are blush peonies. Those soft colors, like the white with a hint of pink, is just my favorite. But I really love how peonies kind of have this whole range, right? They go from like whites. Over at the farm, we had a yellow variety. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but really pretty. I've seen green toned ones up to like the super almost neon pinks, the corals. There's just a really beautiful mix, and so because I indulged in buying so many, I'm excited about having a whole range of colors. Okay, next up, we got 10 Bolle of Cream. And this one I was excited to get because this I've grown over at the farm. This was actually a variety that we purchased in the first year when we just got like 200 peonies. And so before I bought our 1,000 field of peonies, I got to see what these looked like, and they were one of my favorites in the planting. I'd only gotten like a smaller set of them, but once I saw just how big and lush and full, it was just like petals on petals on petals with these. I knew that it was going to be a variety that we wanted to have a lot of on the farm, and so we actually bought another really big clump of them. I think in total the Bolle of Cream has about 100 plants over at the farm, so it is a significant amount of what we have planted. But yeah, no, it's like a soft creamy color, and the thing that I like the most about it is it's like the petals on the inside are almost like folded over, so it has these like outer petals and then it's just like ruffles and ruffles, and so it opens and it opens and it opens. It's just, they get so big and so large and so full. Sometimes these types of varieties can be a little problematic when they're like in your home garden, because if they get any sort of moisture in them, there's just so many petals. They just hold, they can hold so much water, they weigh so much, they just fall down. But part of my thinking in ordering all these peonies is that I really like the look of peony greenery. So peonies bloom in the late spring, early summer, and they have just this beautiful show-stopping flower, but they only kind of last for a couple weeks. And then you're kind of left with this like shrubby, leafy plant. And I really like the look of it. So like what I'm hoping to do here with them is I'm going to kind of create like a hedge, instead of, putting in something like a boxwood or something to circle my garden. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these peonies. I'll get some flowers that I'll be able to cut and bring in and enjoy if there's some wet weather. But then, throughout the entire summer, I'm going to be able to still have these beautiful leafy plants. And then at the end of the season, do a nice cleanup, have a clean slate to work with. So, like, the flowers are gorgeous on peonies, but I feel like they're underrated as just like a greenery plant too. And sometimes on the farm, I've even used the greenery leaves in bouquets because I like the greenery so much. Okay, next up we got 10 Coral Charm. You can see these big chunky roots that they have. So the company that we at the farm bought our peonies from is a European company. It was Groot and Groot, and I think they're in the Netherlands. And I specifically remember Coral Charm as just being these crazy plants that came in, because they had these big, huge, fat roots. The Groot and Groot peonies that we purchased were they were really large. They were definitely more expensive than this, but they were like nice big plants, and they were guaranteed. It's kind of like buying an extra year of time by buying these bigger plants. But yeah, no, the coral charm is just so funny how like big these roots get, which is it's kind of a sign that it's going to be a really strong plant. Anytime I see these big chunky huge root pieces that are getting sent out like for the price they are, that means those are probably plants that are going to grow quite quickly. They're going to get established quite quickly, and the bigger the root system on these peony plants, the more energy they're going to be able to store for putting into flowers and leaves in the following year. So I'm really excited about the coral charm. I love the color on it. The coral peonies are really quite vibrant. They're not, the color is what really makes them. They're not as full as a lot of these other varieties that I have here, but the color is so fun and so distinct. And if you can, I know here there's usually a lot of sun in the summer, so they're quite vibrant. They're very pink forward, but I've seen people grow them in areas where they're a little bit more overcast and the colors are a lot softer. So I'm going to be interested to see how, you know, the color might be different here at my house versus like what they've looked like at the farm, because the light is just going to be different here. But yeah, no, that's a fun one. You know, I am just opening this now. Like I hadn't previously opened this up, and I was expecting like good sized roots, just because, you know, I kind of have come to expect amazing things out of Ellen Bolle. I've been really happy purchasing from them as a company, and that's part of the reason why my late night impulse buy happened. Like I knew whatever I was gonna get was gonna be some really beautiful roots, but I mean, honestly, these are massive. Before I started filming these, I looked up like what would be the price on these, and I was looking at the Brex website, and they were saying, oh, you know, like all of these varieties would be on sale for $25. But I seriously doubt that the roots that you would be getting would be as nice as these. So I'm really excited. Like, you know, with putting in like a plant this big, you know, there's a chance these might actually send up, you know, like that one that I showed that had 13 eyes on it. You know, maybe some of them will get lost over the winter, but it could send up like 10 stalks. It could send up like, you know, a full shrub type of thing. Peonies, they live for like 100 years. They just go and go and go. And they take a few years before they really get established. But when starting with big roots like this, you know, it's just exciting to think that maybe I'll have flowers next year. Okay, next up we got Sarah Bernhardt. I got 10 of these. And this is the other variety that I was saying, if I was only gonna get 2, I'd get Sarah Bernhardt and Duchess Denur. Sarah Bernhardt is a really beautiful pink. Really full, really lush, like really strong plant. The price on it is usually pretty low too. You can pick up Sarah Bernhardt's almost everywhere for a good deal, because they're like such good growing like root systems. And then the color is just this like really beautiful, like vibrant pink, and it's a later blooming variety too. So I'm feeling spoiled. After I bought these, I like started doing some math, and I was like, okay, what is the maximum amount of peonies that I can fit on this property? And I came up with 50. I'm like, I can fit 50 somewhere. But you know, it's when you have 80, it's hard to not want to, you know, like what's 30? Just need to find a little corner, just 30 little corners somewhere on my property to add a few more. Monsieur Jules Ali. Oh man, look at these are really beautiful roots. This is nice. So I got 10 of these. This is a nice soft pink. This has some of the things that I like in like the blush varieties, where they'll kind of have like different colors, like different shrubs will have kind of some streaky bits to it. There'll be a little bit of variation from plant to plant. Super full, double, yet again. There's definitely a theme here. These are all like massive double varieties. These are all like the best ones to cut. Yeah. I'm like, all I want is to be able to fill my house with hundreds of peonies for the month of June. Is that so much to ask? Okay, and then this is the last variety. Last but not least. mystery. La France. Nice big roots. Yet again, all of these just really nice plants. And then this one is similar coloring to the last variety, where it's like a soft pink with like the same kind of like streaky bits to it. Super full, super double. Yeah, so 80 peonies. Am I crazy? I mean, I already know I am plant crazy. I mean, like 80 peonies, like $700 is a lot of money, but 80 peonies is also a lot of peonies. So I haven't started doing any planting here at my new house yet. I've still been quite actively working on the farm, so I just haven't had the focus and the energy to be able to start developing a plan here. One of the most challenging things I found about when I first moved to the farm was having a blank slate to deal with. When we first moved to the farm, it was 2.5 acres of grass. There wasn't anything, and so it was hard to know where to begin. I had a lot of, confidence issues about like getting started and everything. So, one of my biggest takeaways from building the farm is that you need to just start somewhere, and it doesn't really matter what you start with, you can always change it. They always say, plant trees first, right? Plant a tree because it's going to take years before it gets established. And so that's kind of how I feel about these peonies. I can get these peonies into the ground now. They can start to establish into something. And if I end up planting them in a spot where I'm not happy, I can dig them up. I can move them. These don't need to stay. But, with the coming into the fall, the farm season ending, I have these peonies now. I'm going to be having this time. I'm going to be having this space to start to develop a plan, start to try to get a vision together, and having these peonies kind of as like the first building block, I feel is going to be really important for me to begin the beginning, right? I don't have anything else planted on my entire yard. It's a complete blank slate. All it is weeds. And so I can take these peonies, I can plant them anywhere I want, and then once they're in the ground, then it's going to be easier to build plantings on top of it. So, the bare root peonies, you put them in the fall, they overwinter, and then they come up in the spring. But I have until the ground freezes to get these into the ground. So there really is no rush for me. I don't have to, now that I've unboxed them and shared them with you guys, get out there and start digging holes. I will have a few weeks to kind of get this into a plan, into motion, dig 50 holes for myself. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this unboxing turn into a project, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing them too. I have way more peonies than I need, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the only reason why I got late night tempted into buying 80 peonies is because Bolle has an excellent website, and Squarespace can help your business tempt people just like they tempted me. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your terms. I love how easy they make it for me to build a website. But that's not all. Squarespace payments and invoicing helps me run my business in person too. Domains by Squarespace makes it the first, as well as last stop in building my website. And they even have tools to help me sell content or courses, which is really valuable for a creator like me. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/youcan'teatthegrass to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.